Hello, fellow leggers. It's another brand new year.
Isn't it? Happy New Year to you all, old and new. Welcome to 2019. And we're kicking off 2019 with a Christmas story.
Yeah, something Christmassy. Christmas is done and dusted, but it's still lingering, and that is A Christmas Carol here in London at the Old Vic.
So stick around to hear all of our thoughts
Find out how many stars.
and whether it's break a leg or leg it.
So yeah, A Christmas Carol, I've got to be honest, I've never, ever enjoyed this.
Well,
I've never got it.
If honesty's
I've never got
order
it.
of the day, I've never really enjoyed Christmas. So, I mean, it isn't
So
shaken.
you are a real
Well,
life Scrooge.
I am a real
Yeah.
life Scrooge. If you don't know, A Christmas Carol is a story of Ebenezer Scrooge, who's forced to reassess his life after being visited by three ghosts at Christmas time.
Christmas past, present and future.
Yeah, originally Charles Dickens, but this is a new adaptation by
Oh.
Jack Thorne.
Who also was one of the collaborators, adapters for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yes, he also did the musical Junkyard, which we saw at the Bristol Old Vic, and here he did Warchus.
He did
Wojciech.
with, is it John Boyega?
Yes, well done. Good. You've got finally we pronounced the name right on this channel.
Are you
we're
being
gonna get,
sarcastic?
No, we're going to get loads of comments now saying actually it's Boyega.
I have
It's
no
something
idea
different.
how
It's
you
John
pronounce his name.
Boyega, as far as I know. So this actual production previously had a run last Christmas, New Year, so 2017 going into 2018,
Okay.
where Rhys Ifans was the lead role, but now, this time round, it's Stephen Thompkinson. Stephen Thompkinson is famous for Ballykiss Angel, Drop the Dead Donkey, and the Northern Band movie,
Brassed off.
Brassed Off.
He's a face I recognise
Yes, he's
from TV.
taking on the antithesis of Christmas himself, but he's joined by a fabulous cast, including Frances McNamee, who we saw in The Last Ship.
Oh, okay.
She's playing Belle, and Peter
Right.
Caulfield as Bob Cratchit. Now, artistic director Matt Warchus directs.
He's done loads of stuff. Did he do Matilda?
He did Olivier Award for Matilda. He also did the movie Pride, which was about gay people in the 80s supporting the miners' strikes. I thought that movie was brilliant.
Pretty good.
Length. It's all about length with you, isn't it?
2 hours and 5 minutes, I
Yeah,
imagine, with a 20-minute interval.
Well done. I may as well put my notes away. Who needs
No,
those?
I don't know what I'm thinking about this, because the best one I know you like is the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think it's the A Christmas
They
Carol kind of
peaked.
peaked for me with Kermit the Frog and Michael Caine, and I just love that. I mean, who doesn't love it? Surely it's one of your favourite Christmas movies as well, because I know, damn sure, even though I hate Christmas, I love that film.
Anyway, I'm ready to, have my mind changed. So stick around to hear our 30-second interval breakdown thoughts.
Find out if my icy heart has been melted by this tale, and as we give you the stars at the end.
It's the interval, which means it is time for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval
interval
breakdown.
breakdown. So, what do you think? Start with you.
I really, really like it. I'm like quite emotional as well. Like, it's quite moving, and I've never ever felt moved by this story before. It's being told in such a beautiful way with integrated music, moving so well, focused storytelling. How about you?
Yeah, I absolutely love it too. I think when it's a tired story, it's not a very deep story. It's quite a simple story, but it's being told in the most beautiful production by a fantastic company in a lovely setting, and I am ready.
We've come to the end of A Christmas Carol here at the Old Vic. So come the end, what did you make of this show?
I understand the importance and the strength of Dickens' message more than I have ever done before in any interpretation of this story. Because let's face it, surely there's no more ground to tread with it. It's had every interpretation from, the classic Victorian period drama right through to the Muppets. Yet I only feel now that I thoroughly appreciate the simple genius and the heartwarming nature of the message and of the tale that we've been told.
So is that well done? Who's that well done to?
I mean, ultimately it's Dickens, I suppose, but perhaps it is Jack Thorne. Perhaps it's that interpretation, a modern You know, I mean, I want to say modern. It's not modern. It's period setting, but
it's period setting, but
it just seems resonant.
It's almost stripped back to almost more humanity.
which is ironic if you think about it, because it's a supernatural tale.
It is,
but it's about
human tale.
It's a very human tale, and it takes those themes of grief and loss and trauma and the things that shape us when we're adults and the things that we don't talk about openly, and mental health illness and all of those things that we now sort of are starting to wake up and appreciate. It takes a story that is more than 150 years old to be able to show us those things. Isn't that special?
And I think it's special in that it's still relevant, a key message about how the ghosts of our past can haunt us
and shape us,
and we can, I guess, choose to be a victim
and choose to take it out on other people.
Yeah, we have that choice, and that is the message of the piece, that we can either become a victim of our ghosts, or we can say, no, I'm going to make my own future, and that is the key message. And when that lands, it's great. And this story is told in such a way that I think does hit that message home. It jumps straight into it. I think in past things I've seen, there's a lot of before wishy-washy stuff before we get into all the ghost business and it starts to happen. And yet we moved very quickly to that point. It's very dynamically staged, lovely use of music. So let's break this down. Director, we talk about Jack Thorne. I think it's a really good adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Matt Warchus as director. He's also artistic here at the Old Vic. And my God, has he understood those things? Has he understood that people just want to get to the point, and they also want to be thrilled? You know, you want to be thrilled and entertained, and that's what we were by use of amazing lighting, choreography, bell ringing. Do you know what I was thinking? Aren't the actors lucky to be able to put an extra skill on their CV now? Because
they've had learned that extra skill.
Handbell ringing training.
They must have been really fun rehearsals learning those. I think what Matthew's done here as well is made a real sense of community between the cast, but breaking that out into the audience, because right from when you go out, you're given things by cast members, oranges and mince pie. They're talking to us, they're interacting with us. We are a part of the kind of festive fun, and we are immersed in the world. It's almost it's a really immersive piece, because they come right out as well. It's a thrust stage, is it? That comes all the way
sort
through
of a semi in the round. I mean, I don't know how to explain it really.
The audience is on the stage.
Traverse, I
guess
suppose.
It's traverse.
But then there's also a central section. But it's staged so dynamically.
So creative genius at points in this.
For me,
really
what
nice stuff.
definitely helped get me in the mood were the costumes, which the attention to detail was phenomenal. Rob Howell on costumes and set. It just added a huge element to it, which for me, I bought into that Victorian, and I ended up being very jealous of Ebenezer Scrooge's coat.
Okay.
Like, I really want that coat.
The little things, but
it was. I was thinking, gosh, that is a bloody lovely jacket.
I thought it was a lovely set design. I absolutely loved, there were kind of built into the floor boxes that came out and doubled up as things. Also lighting from underneath through slats, which kind of crosses over onto lighting.
Yeah, and lighting I know you were particularly a fan of.
I was a fan of the lighting.
Hugh Van Stone.
Yes.
3-time Olivier Award winner, Tony winner and Molière Award winner.
And thoroughly deserved. They had lanterns, like hundreds of lanterns maybe, throughout the just flown in, and the orchestration of them going in and out, and the underfloor
they were
lighting,
a character in themselves, really, weren't they?
It was just really nicely done, magical. Inspired again, some really nice inspired stuff.
I was touched, and I felt very emotional at a lot of different points, surprisingly so. You know, I said at the beginning I don't like Christmas, and I'm not a big fan of Christmas, and maybe it's the ghosts of my past that have shaped that thought. But what really brought it to life for me, and what drove that sort of emotional message home, was the underscoring. Was Will Stewart, music director. I mean, my God, that music sounded phenomenal.
And I think we've got a
Composer and arranger, Christopher Nightingale. There were Christmas carols that you recognised, yet sometimes they went a little bit sort of off-piste and fleshed out, but they always had that feel of a familiarity and of a sentiment of Christmas.
Yeah, and embedded into the piece when Ebenezer Scrooge had that big moment of realization, built in with it a fantastic sound design. And the sound design, along with the underscoring from the orchestra band, hit a beautiful crescendo that literally, as an audience member, took your breath away. Talking about feeling emotional, felt emotional at a number of points through this, aided by the sound.
Simon Baker on sound. Let's go into some performances now, because we've not mentioned a single actor specifically
Talking
yet.
about kind of really strumming those emotional strings, Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Tiny Tim played by a variety of actors, as it's a young person's role, so they share the part.
Made your heart melt.
Yeah, absolutely. Today, our Tiny Tim was played by Lara Mehmet, who was just beautiful and heartbreaking, and
You just melted your heart.
yeah, just delicious. Everything about her performance was just lovely and just natural, and made you have this empathy, and it was just beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. So she was great. It's quite an ensemble piece. The ensemble are in and out, dancing, singing, moving, changing costumes, but the lead actor was
Stephen Thompkinson.
What did you make of him?
I thought he was brilliant. I thought he had the real journey. I mean, we talk about when you're playing an angry character, it's very easy to plateau. It's very easy to just kind of go into default anger. But I just got this complete believability about him, because he ebbed and flowed in a way that felt natural, in the way that I feel it should be. And hats off to him. To get that pitched just right is an art.
And as usual, we see these film actors, and they're acting quite small,
I mean,
really.
he's done a lot of stage
because
work too.
the camera's there. That's where I know him from,
Yeah.
on MTV. Never seen him on stage before. And you kind of think, okay, it's a different skill. Is he a decent stage actor? He's a blooming awesome stage actor who, like a typical brilliant actor, knows his craft inside out. He's amazing. I loved what he did from beforehand, going through the journeys of being told these different stories, fighting it, and yet I still cared. I've never cared about Scrooge before. I'm not sure if it's because Jack Thorne in his writing amplified bits of his story, the past, about his relationship with his dad, which has never been very clear to me before, and about how he is kind of the shadow of his dad, and he is because of who he is, because of that past. So I felt more empathetic. So he did really well. Loved it.
Let's talk about three ghosts. Ghost of Christmas Future, Little Fan also, who is Scrooge's sister, played by Whitney White. She was great. She's sort of moving in here. She was in Sylvia and A Monster Calls.
She was great.
So she's doing well. Ghost of Christmas Past, Myra McFadden. Again, wonderful. But for me, a real standout was actually Ghost of Christmas Present, Nicola Hughes. I just loved her because I think she had elements of comedy about her. She carried herself really well. Her sort of personification of that part. I mean, it's completely dynamic. That number one, a lot of the cast are, thankfully, diversely raced. So
diversity
rating, thumbs up.
Yeah.
And also,
as
they're
expected
women.
Here.
The ghosts are women.
Yeah,
Never
well,
happened
in terms
before,
of diversity,
as far as I know.
this production gets it.
Yeah.
They are not being chained or bound by their creativity, and it's embedded, and it's lovely, it's fluid, and it works.
Everybody's great. I mean, we don't have time enough to mention them all, but yeah, what a wonderful, wonderful ensemble.
A wonderful ensemble
But-
cast. Sounded great because they sing as well.
Yeah.
Moved well, some fantastic movement that they were put into, learning the bells, ensemble work, all working together, and they had almost choral text that they had to learn.
There were choral numbers, like vocal choral.
It's telling the story.
Beautiful, choir-sounding, angelic voices. How
Anyway,
lucky.
I guess you're probably wondering how many stars we are going to give a Christmas Carol that is currently playing here at the Old Vic.
For a Christmas Carol, we are going to give
5 stars for this piece. I absolutely loved it.
You know,
and
I
I've
don't
never
know,
loved this.
which is
I've never
a
loved this,
complete
ever.
360 for you, because
I would
think
be-
you'd go so far to say that you would avoid it.
I wasn't looking forward to seeing this, if I'm honest. I know people have said it's great, but I'm thinking I've never had a good time with The Christmas Carol. I was so invested in this production and the story.
You've got a few more weeks to see it here at the Old Vic then, but I mean, maybe they'll wheel it out again next
I
week.
hope
It's just
so.
next month, next week.
Next week.
Next, they'll just bring it back. Or
Cancel
they'll just
the next show.
Yeah, no.
Bring it back.
They'll bring it back next year
If
because...
they do, then please, I was hoping that at the very least, let's hope they do bring it out and do like a live broadcast, because I think it would translate really well
To film.
to audiences everywhere. But hey, that's just what I think.
Yeah, that's just what he thinks. So what do you think? Let us know down below. Have you caught it? You've had 2 years now to catch it, so maybe you
Last year
have. I
and
mean,
this
we're
year.
late to the party on this one. We'd love to hear from your thoughts. If you like what we do,
Yeah.
hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up. We're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.